Okay, hi guys. So today we're looking at topic 1.1b. These are psychological factors, and these are factors that are basically involving our um, information processing systems. Okay, so information can come um, into our bodies or into our minds in only what 5 ways. We've got sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, and we want to look at the factors that have an effect on those things. When we're talking about an information processing system, essentially what we're looking at is an input. So this could be, light or sound or pressure or heat or a taste or a smell. Okay, so that would be an input. And then you have a sensory process, right? So that means that your sensory organs, in this case, the eyes, the ears, the skin, the tongue, or the nose, or the olfactory bulbs, actually, on that. Um, they will process that information. They'll process that input. That will be then sent to the brain, and it will be processed in the brain. And then from there, it will result in a motor response and an output. So that a signal will be sent to basically react. So this is input to output. So for instance, if you touch something hot, then your skin will sense that you've touched something hot. That's the skin. The input is the heat. The sensory process is the touch receptors and the heat receptors in your skin. They send a signal to the brain. The brain says, hey, you better move your hand because you're touching something hot. And then the output would be you moving your hand. Okay, so that's the information processing system. So input to output, um, organ that senses something, brain that processes it, decides to do something with moving muscles or whatever, and then the output. So, what are some things that affect sight? So, one of the things that will affect sight is the visibility of something. Okay, so can you actually see it? This is a problem as you get older for people. Is their eyesight for things up close gets worse. Okay, so that's visibility. Is something readable? And what about the screen resolution? So, I have this problem actually right here. I have some polarized lenses in my sunglasses, and on my car, in the dashboard of my car, there's a clock. And I can't read the clock because of the polarized lenses in my sunglasses during the day. I actually have to turn my head to one side in order for the light to come through. Polarized light only lets one sort of direction of wave pass through it. Okay, so that could be something about visibility. So those are the factors that are going to affect sight. All right, hearing. Some factors that affect hearing are going to be pitch, frequency, and volume. Okay. One thing to understand is that actually sound does not travel like these waves like this. It doesn't travel like that. It actually travels as compressions and something called rarefactions, where molecules are sort of squeezed together, air molecules are squeezed together, and then they separate, and then they're squeezed together, and then they separate. And that's how sound is transmitted. If those compressions and if the distance between the compressions is uh, bigger, then you get a lower pitch. If they're less, then you get a higher pitch. Okay, so we're sort of visualizing the compression and rarefactions here. The amplitude, so the size of the wave, um, will determine the volume of something. So like the higher the amplitude, the it can have the same frequently, but the higher the amplitude, the louder the sound, and the lower the amplitude, the so amplitude is basically the measure of the distance between crest and trough. Okay, whereas frequency is a measure between peaks on a wave. So that peak to that peak, that peak to that peak would be frequency. Amplitude is measuring the distance up and down. Okay, touch. Some factors that are affecting touch are texture, friction, and temperature. Okay, so texture, is something that Do you like the texture of something, or does it help you, for instance, grip something? These kind of connect to things too. For instance, on coins, you'll often find these ridges, and that helps you pick them up. Your fingerprints have ridges on them that help you pick them up. Okay, so texture will affect your sense organs in your skin, which are the thermoreceptors, which They basically sense heat and cold. Touch sensors, which are called Meissner's corpuscles. We have the nociceptors, which sense pain, and then you have a sense of pressure, which are the Pacinian corpuscles. Okay, your skin is divided into different layers. You have the epidermis, which is the outer layer, the dermis, and then the hypodermis. Okay, when you get a cut, usually a cut only goes into the epidermis. When it's a pretty bad cut, it'll go into the dermis. And if you get a cut into the hypodermis, this is where you probably need stitches. And if it's in the dermis, there's a good chance you'll need stitches too. Okay, increasing friction on things will help people, for instance, grip on something, or sometimes you don't want friction on things, like your trackpad. You want enough friction to slide your finger around and sense that it's sliding around, but not too much friction. You wouldn't want your trackpad to be like sandpaper. And then temperature. What is the temperature of the things in your design? These are all factors to consider when you are designing something. Okay. If you're designing a tool that needs to have a good grip, then you want a textured thing that has good amount of friction. Taste. So taste, what we're looking here is actually taste is a very interesting thing. Taste is meant to you can taste different things in your mouth, right? Like you can taste salty, and you can taste bitter, and you can taste sweet, and something called umami, and I think I've got them all. Oh, and sour, right? Those are things. But actually, it's kind of interesting. Your taste is actually a survival mechanism, because many toxins, many things that are poisonous to us, are bitter. So, for instance, considering designing things, you might want to add something like a bitter taste to like a children's toy. So, for instance, these little things, they're called Betos. They actually, kids were eating them, so they added a bitter taste to it. Okay, so it's a non-toxic taste that the kids, if they eat it, they'll go blah, and then they won't eat that. So that was an interesting, application of this idea of taste. Okay, you would not want to have a child's toy that tastes sweet. Okay, so when you are tasting something, basically molecules will attach to taste buds that are in your mouth. Okay, and then that'll send signals to your brain. Okay. All right, smell. So smell is a very powerful psychological factor, and basically aromas and perfumes and actually odors can spark emotions, and this is an interesting article if you want to read it about that. But essentially, this is also a survival mechanism, because if you smell something, it just smells like it's gone off, like bad milk or something like that. Well, you're unlikely to drink that, so it's actually a survival mechanism for us. It's interesting, the olfactory bulb, which is this right here, it goes straight into your brain. Okay, so it goes straight into this part of your brain. So it's really can evoke powerful memories of things and powerful emotions. This is an abstract of that thing about emotions. So you can read that later if you'd like. Okay. This is just a bit of a review of some of the data that we can collect. So we can get categorical or qualitative data. I'm sorry. There's no numerical order. So hair color is a category. So this would be categorical or qualitative data. Continuous or quantitative data is something that you can translate into a numeric order. So, for instance, heights of different people. That's called continuous or quantitative data. We talked about this before, that nominal data is something that has a name, like, for instance, different kinds of cars, like SUVs or hatchbacks or etc. Ordinal means that it's ranked. Okay, this is a category. Interval is numeric, and this is continuous, and then ratio is comparing numbers, and that's also continuous. Okay, so this is nominal. We talked about this before, like different types of cars. Ordinal, you're putting something in order, and I think we've talked about this with chili peppers before. This is hot to hottest. Interval would be something like temperature, where you know that the intervals between the degrees, so that they are known and ordered based on that. And then ratio data. Ratio data allows you to compare differences between numbers, for example, using a rating scale. Okay, so that would be ratio data. All right. Thanks so much for